Good evening. This is NTA Network News, and we're reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Ian Ray John. Adeola Komia is in our Lagos studio, while Sadia Omar Dege joins us from Sokoto. Welcome. It's good you know that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our YouTube channel, NTA News Online. Our Twitter handle is at NTA News Now. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News, and Instagram, NTA Network, for updates. So let's hit the road now. The Constitution confers on the legislature the right to make and amend laws, and therefore court orders cannot prevent it from carrying out this constitutional function. This is coming from the Senate as it responds to the ruling of the Federal High Court restraining the National Assembly from amending the new Electoral Act 2022. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo brings us details.
On Monday, the 7th of March 2022, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja restrained the National Assembly from tampering with the new Electoral Act. This came less than 24 hours to Senate's first plenary of the week. 5 bills were scheduled for first reading. The Electoral Act Amendment Bill was one of them. After it was read, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan made clear the position of the Senate on the court ruling.
And I mean separation and exercise of powers. The judiciary, under no circumstance, can stop the legislature, the National Assembly, from performing its legislative duties.
I think the argument you have raised is valid, but this one will present in court to discharge that order. We cannot sit and appeal here on a matter that's already been given an order in court.
If the judiciary will simply say we are not to consider this and that, and we obey those kind of rulings, that's anarchy.
The bill seeking to repeal the Federal Colleges of Education Act 1986 and to reenact Federal Colleges of Education sponsored by Senator Ahmed Baba Kaita, and the one that seeks to prevent fire hazards and the safeguard of persons and property from fire disaster by Senator Gashon Bassi, and the Federal College of Agriculture Okoyi Kwara State Establishment Bill sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Oloriegbe passed second reading. Senate, by a motion sponsored by Senator Abba Moro, urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to register inmates and create voting centers for them to vote in general elections in Nigeria's correctional centers.
There had been a decline in agricultural extension service workers in the country. These workers are produced mainly by the College of Agriculture.
And denying prison inmates access to the electoral process constitutes an infringement of their rights as citizens of Nigeria. Senators
welcomed the new clerk of the Senate, Chinedu Akubweze, who took over from Dauda Ibrahim El Adan, who retired in February.
Congratulations, and we wish you a very successful tenure. Thank you.
The National Tax Crime Commission bill, sponsored by Chief Whip of the Senate, Oji Uzo Kalu, was among the 5 that passed first reading. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has declared the defection of Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State and his deputy Kelechi Igwe from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress as illegal and unconstitutional. The court made the order in a judgment on a suit filed by the PDP seeking the removal of the governor and his deputy from office. Justice Eko said the depositions of the defendants in their counter-affidavit were evasive and insufficient to competently challenge the plaintiff's originating process. The opinion of the court is that the immunity clause in Section 308 of the Constitution is not absolute. The court said Umahi and Igwe did not controvert the deposition that total votes scored in an election belonged to a political party. Justice Eko said evidence abound that the second defendant, APC, contested the Ebonyi State governorship election held on March 2019 with its own candidate, noting that the Constitution does not deal with the issue of defection. The court further said the acts of the APC, Umahi and his deputy is aimed at dismantling the 1999 Constitution. Ebonyi State Governor Chief David Umahi of Ebonyi State says he will appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court, Abuja, that sacked him and his deputy from office over their defections from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. Chika Okorie reports.
Chief David Umahi, who insisted that he remains the governor despite the judgment of the Federal High Court, Abuja, described it as a nullity.
I'm still the governor of Ebonyi State, and he has no powers to remove me. But let me say to the nation that there is a need to look at the integrity of our judiciary, because I already have, a judgment in my favor, and he has no powers to remove this me that was brought by the hands of God. So I want you to relax.
Governor Umahi, while calling on Nigerians to condemn the judgment, urged his supporters not to be deterred because efforts are on to appeal the judgment. In Abakaliki, Chika Ukore, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Senator John Akpano-Duodehe, says he still remains the chief scribe of the governing party. Abubakar Akwanga reports that this was during a media briefing to dismiss earlier reports credited to some quarters of the social media over the resignation of the National Secretary.
The National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention National Committee, Senator John Akpano-Duodehe, says reports of his resignation from section of the new media were baseless, unfounded, and intended to create division in the party.
I read on social media that story of my resigning as the National Secretary of the APC. I want to state that it's not true that I have not resigned. If I resign, you will see the letter of resignation by me. So someone cannot just say, Mr. So is dead while he's alive. I'm not bigger than the party, not bigger than the president of this country, is the leader of the party. I'm waiting for my national chairman to come back. We have done so much for this party, and I'm stating here that that breaking news is not from me.
Meanwhile, the caretaker has announced the decision taken on the report submitted by the zoning committee led by Governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak.
This zoning system reflects the principle of fairness and equity. And once it is being implemented, that will give us, it will send a very strong message that our party is that of fairness, equity, and justice.
In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
And away from politics, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed sadness over what he described as the brutal murder of tens of vigilante members in Kebbi State by bandits who ambushed them in the Sakabawa Sago local government area. In a statement, President Buhari assured Nigerians that he would do all it takes to tackle this monster decisively, extending his sympathy to the families of the victims of this savagery. The president used the opportunity to also call on the security forces to be more proactive and redouble their efforts in order to frustrate the operational plans of the terrorists before they even launch attacks. And away from Kebbi, more Nigerians continue to celebrate Vice President Osinbajo as he turns 65. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, were among those who paid a visit to the Vice President's office to felicitate with him. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
This is the mood at the office of the Vice President when aides and subordinates took time out to celebrate with Vice President Osinbajo as he clocks 65. Admirers and political associates of the Vice President too are not left out as they rejoice and join him in photo sessions.
He's a phenomenon that's worth emulating. He's one that we Yorubas refer to people of his life as an Omoluabi. And those of us that are younger than him also want to take those kind of steps that will allow us to be referred to as an Omoluabi. On behalf of my family, the entire people and government of his home state, Ogun State, which I have the privilege of governing, I've come to join him in thanking the Almighty God for 65 years on earth.
The president described him as a true and loyal partner in this enterprise of running this nation. And I believe so much in that he has done very well and has done incredibly well as the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Our wish for him is God should continue to sustain him, give him the enablement and the grace to be able to support the President in the exercise of their mandate, and I wish him the best in his future endeavors.
We are also very excited. This is not just our boss, he's our teacher. And we see him day by day working hard, thinking hard to find solutions to the problem of Nigeria. So we are all so happy to identify with him on his 65th birthday.
So it's somebody that is committed to that notion of service to the people, whether in government, whether as a pastor, whether as a lawyer, in every aspect of his life. He understands very diligently the idea that we are here to serve.
He's a man of God. He's a leader that listens. He's a leader that guides people that walk around him and people that walk with him.
Celebrating with the Vice President, President Muhammadu Buhari, in a message, notes the worthy contributions of the Vice President to the development of the country and working selflessly and sacrificially to bring government closer to the people. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari, on behalf of the Federal Executive Council, government and people of Nigeria, warmly felicitates with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on the occasion of his 65th birthday. In a statement, President Buhari notes the worthy contributions of the Vice President to the development of the country as a lawyer, scholar, administrator and pastor, working selflessly and sacrificially to bring government closer to the people and placing the people at the center of governance by regularly advocating policies that support human development. As the lawyer and scholar turns 65, the president affirms that his loyalty and dedication to duty have been most exemplary, especially in supervising the economy, which involves regular interface with heads of public and private institutions and other government structures to ensure synergy and harmony that puts the welfare and well-being of all Nigerians first. He prays that the Almighty God will continue to grant him the strength, wisdom and good health to serve the nation and humanity. Similarly, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, on behalf of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, felicitates with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on the occasion of his 65th birthday. FEC describes Professor Osinbajo as an outstanding public servant, lawyer and pastor who epitomizes humility and loyalty in service to fatherland. The highest decision-making body in the country notes that Professor Osinbajo's dexterity in leadership is exemplified in the management of the nation's economy by chairing the National Economic Council, NEC, which has spearheaded economic recovery, stabilization of macroeconomic policies, as well as stimulating the growth of MSMEs for sustainable growth and development. FEC prays God to shower Professor Osinbajo with good health and wisdom to support the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. And still on the Vice President, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has joined compatriots across the country in offering best wishes to the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, on the occasion of his 65th birthday. In a statement, Senator Lawan noted that Professor Osinbajo has proved his mettle in his chosen career, the legal profession, as well as in politics and governance, bringing into public service integrity, humility, loyalty, and a cerebral approach to solving public challenges. Similarly, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajagbemiamila, has also paid tribute to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, as he marks his 65th birthday. Gbajagbemiamila said Professor Osinbajo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has been a worthy Vice President to President Muhammadu Buhari. He described the Professor of Law as one of the pillars of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and a man of honor, and wished him many more years in good health. In other news now, Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama says he is now relieved following commencement of evacuation of Nigerian students trapped in the city of Sumy, northeastern Ukraine. In a tweet, the minister said those students have been in his thoughts and prayers all the time as they embarked on the hazardous trip to safety. Meanwhile, the Embassy of Nigeria in Bucharest, Romania, says Nigerian students from Ukraine who wish to remain in Romania for a while can contact the embassy for accommodation at either the University of Bucharest or Babes Bolia University. In a statement, the embassy confirmed that the accommodation is available at Cluj-Napoca and Bucharest. Interested students are advised to contact any of the numbers on the screen. Time for our first break. Please stay with us.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. Eat the farm, say it's happy. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you, don't do pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Millions of Nigerians have received COVID-19 vaccine. I have taken my own. What about you? We have taken our own. What about you? I am strong and healthy. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? We are strong and healthy. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Go get, go get, go get, go and get your job. The hospitals, churches, and the mosques. Go and get your job. Health centers, hurry up now, don't be late. Go and get your job. Bye-bye, Corona. Bye-bye, Corona. This message is brought to you by the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, NPHCDA.
It's scary, isn't it? Putting yourself out there, ignoring the voices telling you you can't. Moments like these are when your fight or flight response kick in. Will you step aside? Or will you go for it? After all, what's the worst that could happen? So, keep trying. Don't stop. Don't give up. Push harder. Give it everything you've got. Because nothing is really impossible when you dig deep. Believe in yourself and go for it. Aladana, available in many variants to nourish you every step of the way.
Family plan. Get bonus talk time, SMS and data for each family member you share with. Dial *141# now. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thank you for staying. Let's now celebrate the women. President Muhammadu Buhari extols Nigerian women on the occasion of International Women's Day. In a statement, the president says the celebration and that the hashtag Break the Bias and the theme Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow is an opportunity to reflect on the vital roles women play in society, homes, governance, the profession, and in all walks of life. President Buhari observes that women are not where they should be yet in different spheres of endeavor, but believes that they can no longer be deprived for too long, as they consistently prove that they can hold their own on all fronts and in all fields. He applauds the contributions of women to the current administration as ministers, special advisors, senior special assistants, executive directors, executive secretaries, and many others, noting that they are pulling their weights and making it impossible for anyone to downplay their essence. More voices are getting louder as the world celebrates International Women's Day. Ruth Aguele compiled some messages from various stakeholders.
The Governor's Wives Forum has enjoined Nigerian women to sustain consistent and proactive approach towards the realization of women agenda in the country. In a statement signed by chairperson of the forum, Erelu Fayemi, says constitutional demands and stakeholders' engagements will explore, while thanking the First Lady Aisha Buhari, wife of the Vice President, and Women Affairs Ministry for their outstanding support. The forum urged government and corporate bodies to support women in achieving the 2022 theme, Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. The Governor's Wives charged women to participate actively in politics and ensure better representation in elective offices at all levels of government. Similarly, Action Aid Nigeria has called on the National Assembly to substantiate its commitment to gender equality by re-presenting and reconsidering the 5 proposed bills in the 5th Constitution alteration bills that were rejected by both houses of the Parliament. In a statement, the country director, Action Aid Nigeria, NAOB, says, in line with this year's theme, current gender imbalances should be addressed across the legislative arms of governments and across the country. She also salutes Nigerian women for their continued struggle, and she says the day provides another opportunity for women to demonstrate oneness of voice, work in solidarity to keep the flag of womanhood flying. The Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, also congratulates Nigerian women on the occasion of the International Women's Day. A statement by the national president, Ladi Bala, says she appeals to members of the federal legislature to, as a matter of urgency and in the interest of the spirit of democracy, to allow for the gender bills to be re-represented and passed into law. NAWOJ leadership also calls on all Nigerian women to rise and demand from their representatives the fulfillment of the social contract of effective representation they signed, as the time to stop gender discrimination and biases is now.
Meanwhile, Sabah Khalil Ibrahim now brings us some of the highlights of the International Women's Day celebration in Abuja.
The voices of gender equality resonate across the globe, including the Nigerian women, at different occasions to commemorate the day. The Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria is seeking ways to bridge the gap in the engineering profession.
For us to have a Nigeria that is diversified, especially in this time when we are talking about sustainability.
The Women Commission of the Nigerian Trade Congress are asking for more roles for women in governance.
We have to support each other, we have to sponsor each other and make sure that we have women representing us.
Members of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association joins the clamor to build a sustainable future through gender equality.
Gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow, it's about contributing our own quota as individuals.
Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has empowered smallholder women farmers in commemoration of International Women's Day.
There is the need for us to create an enabling environment so that they can enhance their resources to be able to progress in farming.
Also, The women wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria is providing economic support to uplift the lives of the women folk.
We are also celebrating the women in the market, the women that go to the farm to work, to labor.
And the International Women's Day cannot be complete without the international community in Nigeria. Chadian women celebrated the day away from home.
This is the first celebration ever Chadian organized here in Nigeria, and it's really, it comes on the right time.
Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
We must celebrate women, and today is International Women's Day, an event marked globally to celebrate the gains and pains of women in order to improve their lots. Momso Damien Dati examines the day and its significance.
When I was sleeping, he gave me button.
At 13, she was raped severally by her own father. At 14, still a child, Nika was forced to marry a man almost 4 times her age.
We have issues of child marriage, gender discrimination, female genital mutilation.
What about Halima, who is not alive to tell her story? She was allegedly killed by her husband.
Treacherous husband lured the wife out to a lonely path, positively identified the wife to the other gang members.
Or is it Zainab Galadima, intelligent, educated and successful, yet denied a chance to contest for a political position to represent her constituency?
I aspired for the seat of the House of Representatives, Amakwari constituency, but I did not make it. I faced a lot of challenges, of resources, of support and so on.
And this one, a victim of domestic violence, turned into a punching bag. The list is endless. These are a few out of the many challenges faced by women, necessitating the adoption of March 8 annually to address these challenges and celebrate areas of achievements.
I want to congratulate all women across the world, and particularly Nigerian women, for their immense contributions towards societal cohesion and national development.
We also continue to advocate for women's representation around decision-making tables.
Globally, women are today marking their day and considering the theme.
Gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow.
In the interest of development, in the interest of peace, in the interest of unity of this country, the gender bills should be reconsidered.
Nigerian women should not be made irrelevant to the progress and future of this country.
The clause-to-clause aspect of the bill needs to be analyzed that the ordinary man on the street can understand.
We're the women of tomorrow, so it's very important that we are at the round table when these decisions are being made.
See the capability of young people.
With days like this, projecting women's issues, it is hoped that the likes of Malama, Nika, and Zainab will be given opportunities to fulfill their dreams and aspirations to benefit humanity. In Abuja, Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Many thanks, Momso. And as we celebrate International Women's Day today, thankfully, the House of Representatives has rescinded decision on 3 gender-related bills, which were among those rejected during voting on the constitutional amendment bills. The 35% affirmative action, citizenship and indigenship bills have now been recommitted for reconsideration. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali brings us details.
There are issues arising therefrom, and the House, in its wisdom, has decided to take a course of action for the good of the country.
Motion for decision on 3 bills.
Barely a week after the legislators in both chambers voted against 3 women-related bills, the House of Representatives has changed into reverse gear to reconsider them.
That agenda is to make sure that demarcations and parameters are eliminated.
It shows the Parliament is pro-people, pro-women, pro-international best practice.
Voting on the 3 bills will be held in 4 weeks' time. House members have adopted a resolution to focus on initiatives and develop legislation to improve the status of women, as moved by House Deputy Majority Whip Nkiru Kaunye Georgia in commemorating International Women's Day.
House of Representatives, National Assembly, and indeed the federal government of Nigeria can recognize the impact of women on the development of the nation and protect and advance the cause of women generally.
Other motions adopted are the need for authorities to evacuate Nigerians trapped in Sumy, Ukraine, from Tululope, Shadipe, and the need to investigate alleged illegalities at the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, as raised by Minority Leader Ndudi Ilumelu. The House has adopted the report of the Conference Committee on the Nigeria Postal Service Enactments Bill. At the commencement of plenary, the Speaker read out a presidential communication seeking consideration and amendment of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, joining me in the studio is another woman, the Chairman, House Committee on Women Affairs, Adewumi Oriyomi Onanuga. Many thanks for joining us, Ma.
Thank you for having me.
Happy International Women's Day to you.
And the same to you.
Okay, so let's begin talking about this celebration under the hashtag Breaking the Bias and the theme Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. How would you relate all of these to the role of women in nation building?
Well, nation building is incomplete without women. And if you know that you want the nation to be sustained and sustainable, you need to have women as part of that development. So there is nothing in this world really and truly that you want to do without having the impact of women or women side by side with you in whatever it is you decide to do.
Okay, now let's talk about the bills. The House today rescinded decision on 3 gender bills rejected in voting just a week ago. What happened and why the change?
The House of Representatives has been known to be gender friendly. At least this 9th Assembly, I know, has been known to be gender friendly. And it's a people's parliament and is a listening parliament. And I want to believe that leadership listened to the cries of the women, the agitation made by the women, and they thought in their good time to say, look, listen, it's about time there's no point in having a 0/5. If we should be able to shift a little bit, and I think that's what happened today.
Okay, so listening to the cries of the women, do you think the Senate has also heard that because they are yet to respond and there's also the process of voting at state assemblies? What really is the plan to make sure there's a headway at the end of the day?
I won't be able to tell you what the plan is because I don't know what the plan is. We're hoping that since the Senate has heard what has happened in the House of Representatives, they would take a cue from that. They would also understand that, nothing is cast in stone. In politics, in democracy, everything is negotiation and everything is jaw and all the time. So I want to believe that the Senate would also have a rethink and do the same thing that the House of Representatives has done.
All right, so we just hope that at the end of the day, Nigerian women will be happy because I'm sure a week ago, a lot of us were grieving.
I want to believe that there's some succor that's been given to us. So we can clutch at that succor and still forge ahead. Having a foot in the door is one thing. We need to go back to the table and re-strategize for those that have not been rescinded, and we see what we can do about them.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, for your time. And, of course, wishing that you have a beautiful celebration and also hoping that more women will get the kind of position that you have.
Hopefully. We pray so. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with the Chairman, House Committee on Women Affairs, Oriyomi Onanuga Adewumi. Many thanks once again. All right. Let's move on to other issues now. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Dr. Gyadom Ferdinand Dumbari as a project coordinator for the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project under the Federal Ministry of Environment. Dr. Gyadom holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Environmental Geology and over 20 years experience in the conduct of impact assessment and baseline studies of brownfields and greenfields. Dr. Gadum is a member of Nigerian Mining and Geosciences Society and a chartered environmental geologist. A statement issued by the Director of Press, Federal Minister of Environment, Sagar El Mohammed, indicates that the appointment is for 4 years with immediate effect. Let's take a trip to Lagos now, where Adiola will feed us with more news. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Nyere. The days that Nigerian women would fold their arms and complain about lack of empowerment are over as they continue to make use of available opportunities to boost their economic well-being, expand their frontiers, and break perceived barriers. This played out in Lagos at an event organized by Widows Support Center to mark this year's International Women's Day. Lynn Neneke reports.
Over 3 decades of widowhood have been harrowing for Mama Joy and Christiana. Though their experiences may differ, they share the same plight, being women. A gender